So I'm sure most of you would have heard the recent hype about the new Kia e-Niro. I think it's a fantastic car, but in the UK, we're not kind of getting the best deal compared to everyone else. I thought I'd just kind of do a quick video to talk about that. So those of you that subscribe to the channel, or perhaps you've seen some of my other videos on electric vehicles, will know that I'm on the hunt for my next car, and my next car will hopefully be some form of electric vehicle. So far I tested the new Nissan Leaf, the Hyundai Ioniq and BMW i3. Also looked at the BMW e-Golf, also looked at the Hyundai Kona, and obviously I looked at Teslas, but they're more money than I want to spend. And the Model 3 is supposed to be coming out over here maybe sometime next year, but the initial release is going to be about £53,000, and that's more than I'm looking to spend on an EV. And obviously because it's over £40,000 also means it would be subject to road tax. So the car that I've had my eye on for a while, and I've been kind of patiently waiting for full information to be released, is that of the Kia e-Niro. So if you're not familiar with the vehicle, I really recommend that you check out, at least if you're looking for the UK spec, the video that was done on Fully Charged. It was a really good video. It missed a couple of things which I want to talk about now that may not be super significant, but just want people to be aware, because when you look at a lot of the videos on YouTube, there's only a couple that cover the UK variant and the rest are the European or US variants. So just want to make sure everyone's clear on kind of what they're buying. And obviously this is filmed in December 2018, so things may have changed by the time you are viewing this potentially. So the reason that I'm really excited for the e-Niro was a couple of reasons. One is I think it looks pretty good for an EV. It's quite traditional looking. It's kind of the brother of the Hyundai Kona. The Kona for me, for a singular family car, is a little bit too small, and I'm not super happy personally on the styling. It's growing on me a little bit actually. In certain colours I think it doesn't look too bad, but it's a bit of a Marmitey car for me, whereas the Niro, you can already buy the petrol version or the hybrid version, and I think it looks pretty smart for that SUV crossover type car. That's not the kind of thing I normally go for, but I decided in my car selection that whereas traditionally I'd have quite sporty cars, I would kind of try and either have a sport EV, which there isn't really an option unless you want the Tesla, or I'd go for something, I guess, more conventional, being, you know, the crossover or something. So really interested in the Niro, because like I said, there's been lots of reviews of the Kona. Basically shares pretty much the same platform, same motor, same drive system, same battery, everything like that. So really good kind of results, but obviously in a nicer body for me, and it's actually slightly bigger as well. So you have more leg room and a slightly bigger boot. So really, really exciting. And so I was waiting for it to be released, and it's going to be available in the UK from April next year. It's not quite clear how many numbers will be available, but I'm sure there'll be a bit of a wait. And a bit like the Kona, you can get this like in I think it's a 39 kilowatt variant or a 64 kilowatt variant is how they build it. And the 64 kilowatt has nearly a 300 mile range, and I think it was 190 miles for the 40 kilowatt or something like that. I'll put the proper numbers down below to make sure I'm not making a mistake. But in the UK, you don't have to worry about that anyway, because they're only bringing the 64 kilowatt version here, which kind of makes sense. I don't quite know why you might want the smaller version. Perhaps obviously you want to save some money. But the 64 kilowatt version will be about £37,000, but with the government grant, as long as it stays available, be around 32,000. So pretty well priced really for a car with such a big battery, and it's got quite a decent spec on it. But that's kind of where I have some frustrations. So when you look at a lot of the kind of literature on the car, and you look at kind of a lot of the videos that have been online, Obviously, it's been available in Korea for a little while. And there's a few things that aren't available in the UK. And I thought this was actually just for the eNiro itself. But looking on Kia's website, it's also just the Niro in general. I haven't looked at the other models, so I'm not really that interested. But the petrol Niro and the hybrid Niro, as well as the eNiro, all have these similar missing options that people in Europe and US have. So one of them being LED headlights. So that might not sound that important, but when you consider the efficiencies of LED over a halogen bulb, if you're doing lots of nighttime driving, that is going to eat into your battery consumption, obviously, and lessen the range. Again, this isn't a showstopper or anything. Also, it looks more aesthetically pleasing in my mind. So with the UK model, you've got the single kind of halogen projector lamp and the horrible yellow bulb for indicator. Obviously, you can change the indicator bulb out for a silver one, but still, you only have the halogen option. The other thing that I noticed, that if you look closely in the pictures on the UK website, it does look like the seats are both heated and air-cooled, but that isn't an option in the UK. So the first EV release, again, you can't change. There's basically nothing you can spec other than the colour, is the short version of what I'm trying to get across here. So you can't do anything with the lights, can't do anything with the adding the cooling seats. I haven't gone through a whole list of what is or isn't available. They're kind of the main things that I was looking for as part of the spec that I was interested in. Also no mobile app in UK or Europe. So in US there is an app because it's got a slightly different head unit configuration. So again, no app across the Hyundai or the Kona Kia range, which is a bit disappointing. But yeah, I just wanted people to make sure that when you're salivating over this car, because it is, I think it's a fantastic car. I'm still hoping to be able to test drive one, because maybe, these things aren't showstoppers, these are just nice to have. But I really would like an app. I would like to be able to have the LED lights, and I would like to have the comfortable air-conditioned seats. And the thing that I don't quite understand about it is you can get all this on the Kona. So it kind of seems odd that Kia, I guess, I know they're obviously partnered or they're the same company in some ways, but it's weird that the rival to the Kona, being the eNiro, doesn't have a like-for-like options. Also think I noticed that in Europe and US cars, you've got aluminium pedals. I think in the UK model, they're just basic rubber. So again, these aren't showstoppers, and probably I'm just being too fussy. But make sure that when you're looking at all these different videos and reviews, make sure you're checking out the UK specific one. And as the brochure's not available to download or anything yet, and the configurator is very limited on the Kia website, so I just think it's not really clear to see all these things. So I'm a little bit disappointed. Maybe it still will be the car for me. I really want to kind of see one in the flesh now before placing order. I originally was just going to probably go ahead and order one after checking out the hybrid Niro. I haven't been able to find a dealer that will let me have it for a day yet to give a proper checkout and review, unfortunately. But yeah, I'm still really excited about this car. I'm just disappointed in Kia that basically if you're in Europe or the US, you get a slightly better car. I think a better spec of car. Maybe it's because those other countries, the vehicle's a left-hand drive, and perhaps there's just something to do with the right-hand drive that they decided they don't want to equip it with LED lights and some of the other options. But when I've spoken to Kia, they said right now they have no plans to release any other model than the launch EV version. So I'm sure they will maybe at some stage. But I think maybe the lights and things won't happen because, like I said, the petrol and hybrid versions don't have it. So it's been a little bit of a ranty video. Just the message really is, definitely check out this car. I think it's a game changer in affordable EVs in this country. Just be mindful of the spec in the UK is not the same as the stuff that you will be seeing online and in magazines for the European and US models. But the good news is there is actually more room in the eNiro than the hybrid. So the hybrid version has kind of batteries in a kind of awkward space, which takes up a little bit of the rear room as well as boot space. But with obviously the big battery all across the floor plan in the 64 kilowatt eNiro, you've actually got a little bit more room in the back and a larger boot space. So yes, watch this space. Hopefully I get to test an eNiro and even the hybrid one, just to kind of see what it's like as a general car. But yeah, let me know if you're planning to buy an eNiro. Did you know about some of the differences between the European and UK models? Or do you think I'm just being a whingy Brit? This video, a thumbs up would be really appreciated. If you're interested in other geek type videos, please consider subscribing to Spectrum Geeks. Why not also follow us on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter? And before you leave, why don't you check out one of these other videos that may be of interest. Thanks again for watching.